I'm Debbie Bell-Hosking for FinextraTV here at Sibos 2022 in Amsterdam. And I'm talking to Bronwyn Boyle of Mambu. Hello, Bronwyn.
Hi there, Debbie. Thanks for having me.
We're talking about a subject I think is very close to your heart, which is cybersecurity.
Indeed, absolutely.
And the power of the cloud.
Indeed, indeed.
So in your opinion, what would you say are some of the advantages of cloud banking to help mitigate some of the cybersecurity risks faced by legacy infrastructures?
Well, it's a really interesting question. I mean, I think the cloud can bring many advantages that cut through some of the challenges with managing legacy infrastructure, Debbie. One of which is kind of just that opportunity to simplify your tech stack. Companies running on legacy kit can have a plethora of challenges managing different point systems that were put in place at different eras, many of which were a time when cybersecurity wasn't necessarily big on the radar, it wasn't necessarily the threat that we face today. So that opportunity to move to the cloud and really simplify that tech stack can bring a lot of security advantages. It really reduces your attack surface and the kind of heterogeneous nature of it. With that obviously comes cost savings. So Mambu has just published a white paper looking at the cost analysis of legacy hosting versus the cloud, and very interesting to see that over 5 years, if you were hosting core banking and cloud, you can get up to 76% cost savings, which is really, really significant, and allows you then redeploy some of those costs to kind of improving your cybersecurity posture. I would also say the great thing about cloud service providers, this is their bread and butter, right? They understand security, they understand how quickly you need to evolve security controls to keep pace with a very aggressive threat landscape. So you have companies like Microsoft investing 20 billion over 5 years. They have a huge amount of time and resources to really bring next gen security controls into that tech stack. So all of those really can help drive a more optimized and more secure view that eliminates that burden away from that legacy approach.
Great, so you're talking about eliminating a burden, and I suppose that may reflect the surge of a demand for cybersecurity professionals. So how would you say, what's been the driver behind this demand?
Well, it's very interesting because I guess nearly all businesses now are digital, right? Most businesses are operating online, so that in itself is driving a huge amount of demand for cybersecurity professionals. Likewise, again, threat actors are continuing in sophistication. They are relentless. I think we've all seen the uplift in scams, hacks from the pandemic to the war in Ukraine to other mitigating factors that are really testing organizations' defenses and really demanding that they upskill in cybersecurity. So you've got this huge swathe of demand on the one hand. Flip side is what's the supply line like, and I think there are challenges there that we need to front into. It can be very difficult to kind of have the right level of certifications or entry level expectations that many organizations are asking and demanding. And I think really as kind of employers in the cybersecurity domain, we need to start thinking a little bit more creatively about how we get a pipeline of talent in from other areas, right? Many of those kind of cert requirements can be a barrier to entry from people from different socioeconomic backgrounds. I'm also a huge advocate for diversity in the profession. There aren't enough women in cybersecurity, so I like to try and see how we can make it a more inclusive and more welcoming place from people from different backgrounds as well.
Lovely, and you mentioned that word challenge as well. So what would be your top 3 challenges within this industry?
So I think one is the pace of change. You know, technology is evolving so rapidly, and that demands new skills. It demands kind of flexing and pivoting your approach and keeping on top of an ever-changing landscape, both from the tech side, and the flip side of that is also that the threat actors are changing. So we're now seeing kind of new payment mechanisms come into force. We're seeing attackers go to markets like crypto and new innovations like that. It's very difficult to kind of balance that tech change on the one side and then how the attackers are responding to that. I think the other big game changer at the moment is how we actually absorb the impacts of artificial intelligence and machine learning, not just kind of from kind of the use in the security community, which it's actually proving very advantageous. But the flip side is that bad actors are using AI now to kind of improve the sophistication of their techniques. So we're starting to see deep fakes being used in video content and audio vishing that is resulting in big losses. I think there's going to be a lot of focus on those sort of threats in the year to come.
Wow, thank you, Bronwyn. That's a lot to absorb. Enough to keep you busy, I'm sure.
Well, never a dull moment.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.